Hello, welcome. Let's see.
Hello.
Hi, how are you this evening?
I'm good.
Good. I'm actually going to hit mute because a bunch of people are probably going to be hopping on any second. I'm going to play some music while we wait to get started, and I'm sending out some last minute messages. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Carrie. All right, guys, I have some music playing. We're going to wait 2 more minutes before we get started. So if you know anybody who is wanting to be on this, hey, Stephanie, thanks for hopping on. If you guys know anybody else who wants to hop on, just send them a quick last-minute message. Hey, Lisa. All right. All right, guys, we got 1 minute and we're going to get this started. I'm excited because those of you that know me well know this is one of my favorite subjects ever. So I'm really excited. I know we got a lot of people still hopping on and joining us. So excited you guys are joining us. Send out those last minute messages to your team. And yes, I'm recording this, but I firmly believe that those of you that show up live to these kind of things get the most out of it. I just really do believe that. I've seen it time and time again in my business. When I listen to something recorded, most of the time I'm half listening, right? Because I'm doing other things while I'm listening to the recording. So listening live makes you focus, especially on these Zooms since they're visual. And I just think it's a really awesome way for you guys to get plugged in. All right, so we're right at 8. Pamela, can you hear me okay? Give me like a thumbs up. Okay, awesome. Perfect. So for some of you guys, oh, great job. Is that you filled out your paper? Good job. So awesome. So hopefully some of you guys used that Google link that I shared ahead of time. That was called Mastering Your Calendar. I actually made that up about 2 years ago because I had so many people asking me about how I do my time blocking, right? So that's why I made up that Mastering Your Calendar sheet. If you didn't get it, I will post it on our team page. And if you're not on my team page and you want to see it, hi, Ryan. I haven't seen your face in so long. If you did not get the Mastering Your Calendar sheet, you want the Mastering Calendar sheet, go to WeThriveVault.com. I shared it with Elisa's team, and so you can get it there. WeThriveVault.com. Go under Personal Development. You will also find in there my Miracle Morning sheet as well. And so that's in there as well as oh, thank you, Kelly, as well as the video that I did last week, the Zoom that I did last week on my morning routine. So today's going to be more about mastering your calendar. And I love that sheet that I provided. It's a great resource for getting started because here's the honest truth, guys. The reason that this particular subject is so important to me is because a lot of you may or may not know this, but I did jewelry before I started with Lavelle, and that was calendar driven in a little bit of a different way because I did parties. So I was doing anywhere from 8 to 12 parties a month based on the month and what was going on. So yes, my calendar was super important, but I used it more as like, okay, these are the nights that I'm having these parties. Here's the nights that I'm home, kind of a thing. And then during the day when my kids were at school, I was just following up with the customers, following up with people who said they want to host parties. And I didn't have to do a ton of reach outs except when new things came out. It was a very different thing because I would show up at a party and I become a master in my business of booking the next party from the party. So you can see how I didn't really have to go out. But the downside to that is that I was having to leave my house 8 to 12 times a month and be away from my kids and miss practices and games and all those special things that happen at night. And the other thing was it wasn't residual, which I didn't understand at first. And I thought, well, this is so easy. I book parties at parties, but it wasn't residual. And so it wasn't constantly evolving and constantly adding every single month. The cool thing about having a residual business is that, yeah, we're building it right now, but in 10 years from now, I can decide to just do whatever I want to do and I'll still have money coming in every single month, right? Or this summer when I went to Utah for 2 weeks with my family, and one of those weeks we had barely any reception, it was okay because I still got paid that Tuesday and it was a pretty awesome paycheck, right? That's a residual income. So when I started with Lavelle and I realized that I wasn't going to be booking shows from shows, and how was I going to be getting in touch with my customers and getting new customers and helping my customers and getting new promoters and helping them and their teams and so on, I was feeling like I really needed to get more organized. And I felt like I was all over the place. And I happened to be in my very first month that I was with Lavelle on a call with Paul Gravett, our CEO, and he said, your calendar should be the game board for your life. When you look at your calendar, do you see the things that are most important to you? If you're working this business like a hobby, then you're going to get a hobby income. And if you're working this business like a business, even if you can only fit it in to the nooks and crannies of your life, but you have that scheduled, you will get a residual income that will bring you to a full-time salary with this company or full-time income with this company, even if you don't want to ever leave your job. And I remember him saying that, and I thought, okay, what does he really mean by that? And that's when I started learning for myself how to time block. And I read a book that Darren Hardy wrote called Compound Effect. And in there, he talked about blocking off time. When are you most productive? What is your Superman power time, right? And so for me, I know that's morning for me. And then the next thing that I started reading was Miracle Morning. And I realized I really had to become a master of my own calendar. And when I did realize how to do this, you guys, within 4 months, I hit 200K. And yes, that was from a lot of reach outs and a lot of follow-ups. I was just on a call with Josh's team, and I said on there, I was probably reaching out to 20, 30 people a day and following up with them. And I did at least, hear me on this, guys, I did at least 3 to 10 three-way calls a day with Elise. Anytime I could get somebody that was available, I would immediately say to them, oh my goodness, that is such a great question. Can I call you right now? Because I'm about to get in the car. Or if it was, the middle of the day and I knew they worked or they had kids, I would say, hey, listen, that's such a great question, but I'm about to get in the car. Or you guys have probably heard me say this before, but I blame everything on my kids. People don't know the difference and they can relate to it. So I'll be like, oh my gosh, my kids are, with me right now. I can't talk, but I can talk tonight at 7:30 p.m. or 8:30 p.m. Which one's better for you? So I was the queen of getting people on the phone, and all of that stuff was part of the reason that I hit 200K, but the other part was it was scheduled. There was not a day that went by that I didn't have on my calendar when I was going to do my reach outs, when I was going to do my follow-ups, who I needed to reach out to and follow up with, making sure that I was connecting with people and adding new people to my list, making sure that I was on those corporate calls, making sure I went to locals and had locals. And so all of those things are a huge reason why I hit 200K in 4 months, because I blocked my calendar. Now, I will also say we did have a family discussion, And we still do every single Sunday night. We sit down every single Sunday night with our calendars and we discuss the week, okay? But when I was running for 200K, the discussion was more like this. Hey guys, I have a really big goal. If I hit this goal, this is how much money mommy's gonna make every single week. This is what that would do for our family. If I hit that goal, okay, so I started in August 2014. If I hit that goal before Christmas time, this is what we're going to do as a family. This is the trip we're going to go on as a family. So mommy is not going to be able to hang out every single night and watch TV and cuddle with you guys. Mommy is not going to be able to just sit around and hang out. We're going to eat dinner together as a family, and then mommy's going to go back into her office and work. And then when it's time for you guys to go to bed, I will block off that time to come in your room, kiss you, say your prayers, say goodnight to you, and daddy will read you a book. Okay, we made sacrifices because I was running for 200K. Now, some of you are going to be like, yes, I want to make sacrifices because I'm running for something big. Some of you are like, that doesn't fit in with my lifestyle. I don't want that right now. And that's okay too. But you have to have a reality check with yourself about where you want to be and what you want to do, right? So now in my business, I still work my business every single month. Like I want to add 2 new customers and 2 new promoters every single month. It's always my goal every single month, the first week of the month, if not the second week of the month, that I want to have at least 4 new people, 2 customers and 2 promoters. So I still do my reach outs every single day, my 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you'll see where I put that in my calendar. And so because of that, my schedule might be a little bit more open for family times. And then also I will tell you guys this, after I hit 200K, that was a 4-month run. Okay, a lot of times we call them 90-day runs. So right now, from now until the end of Christmas, right? Your 90-day run, there'll be breaks in there, right? Like Thanksgiving, there's a couple of days during Thanksgiving you're not going to be reaching out anyways, but you'll have on your calendar, like I did, on Thanksgiving Day, I really wasn't doing much for my business. The day before Thanksgiving Day, I didn't do much for my business, but I had already planned a 2-hour block on the day after Thanksgiving because I was sure Lavelle was going to put out a Black Friday special, and I was sure that I was going to be the one making sure I got those sales from people. So my family knew I'm available to you on Thanksgiving Day. I'm 100% not looking at my phone, but on Black Friday, I have a 2-hour block that I'm blocking off. So there are breaks in there, but I also learned that at the end of that 4 months when I hit my goal, I also told my family, okay, now let's pick one night during the week that I don't work my business at all, that I'm 100% available to you guys from 7 to 9 p.m. I might get back on my business at 9, but I'm available to hang out with my family, watch TV, cuddle with them, whatever it is they want to do, play games, whatever it is they want to do, okay? So again, your calendar being your game board for your life, you should be able to glance at it and see the things that are most important to you. And that's why the highlighters are my favorite part about calendar blocking. Because now when I look at mine, I can see the things that are most important to me. Pink is personal. That's my workouts, which, aren't my favorite things to do. So they have to go on the calendar or they will never get done. So it's like my workouts. It might be my devotion time. It might be my Bible studies. It might be going to get a haircut, right? Those kind of things. Those are personal. They have to get on the calendar. Blue is for boys. So anything that goes on with my husband or my kids, their events that I can't miss, that I need to be at, that's on the calendar. I can glance down and I can look right now and I see 1, 2, 3, 4 big chunks that are blue. I feel good. I'm working my business, but I'm still giving my family my attention, right? I have another color that's for events, anything to go along with Lavelle or setting up or being at something. I can look down and say, oh, okay, that's something I have to be at. And then I use yellow highlighter for business, for blocking out chunks of time that I can be available for 3-way calls. And I also always have on my schedule, first thing in the morning, my savers. Those of you that watched last week, you know my morning routine. It's silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. So I write that on my calendar. It's usually from 6 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. And then I also have on my calendar after I drop off my kids and after my workout is my 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. My 5 reach outs, my 4 follow-ups, my first 2 out of the 3 social media. I do a Facebook post and an Instagram post. And then I'm making sure I have 2 new people on my list. Who are going to be the 2 new people? So tomorrow I have some new people to reach out to. And then the 1 comes throughout the day because that's when I'm connecting them with my leader, either by a 3-way Facebook Messenger chat or a 3-way text or a 3-way call, right? Or tagging somebody on a welcome to a new Thriver person, okay? So those are all on my calendar. And the calendar that I use, because I just saw somebody ask, I personally love the Law of Attraction. I started off the first 2 years I was in this business using Passion Planner. You can go to passionplanner.com. They're awesome. They're basically the exact same thing as the Law of Attraction. The reason I like the Law of Attraction now is because they start at 5 a.m. and it goes 30-minute increments all the way till 10 p.m. And I'm always in bed before 10, so it works out perfect. And I'm sometimes up at 5:15 a.m. So I like that it goes in those increments at that time. That's why I like the Law of Attraction. You can get that one on the lawofattractionplanner.com, I think it is, or on Amazon. Okay. So really, guys, I want you to think about this too. And then I'm going to have Stephanie Taylor share in just a second, because she works full-time as a principal and works this business alongside that full-time job and a family. And I want you to think about this. You might be thinking, well, Blair, that's easy for you to time block because this is your full-time job, right? Well, when I first started with Lavelle, I was transitioning out of another job, so I did have to make sure I time blocked appropriately. But even now, you can have all the hours in the day and waste them all. One of my friends just actually got out of corporate America 6 months ago and started doing her own private consulting. And she came over today and we were talking about her schedule, and she's not in Lavelle at all. She is in corporate America, but she's doing some stuff on her own. And she was like, I mean, all of a sudden it's 3 o'clock and I have to pick up the kids from school. I can't understand what happens. And I showed her calendar blocking, and she said to me, I can't believe that I've been in corporate America this long and never learned how to time block. But when you're in a business where you show up and your calendar's already given to you for the day, and you know which clients you have to reach out to and do, any of the extra time, you just check your emails and do whatever. She's like, I've never had to actually figure out my day. And her days were just getting away from her. So that's what's important about this, is figuring out those times. So not being over scheduled either, where you can't have the time to pick up the phone and just call somebody. So those of you that are working full time, utilize your car to your advantage, right? One of the biggest things you can do is use your car as a mobile library. And this is something I'm still doing even now, even though I only have like quick little, rides to and from my kids' school. But they'll hear sometimes in my car that I'm listening to Mel Robbins or Darren Hardy, or right now I'm listening to Think and Grow Rich, Business of the 21st Century. Like, they'll hear these books, and guess what? It's going to make them a better leader, and they're going to be even better business owners or business builders when they get older, because they heard this stuff as a kid. So don't think you have to play music in your car. Now, I'm not saying don't rock out with your kids sometimes, because that's super fun. You should do that too. But utilize whatever time you have. If you are alone in the car, then you need to have some people already set in your phone that you are going to call. Figure out a way. Wow, that's awesome. Chris said that she's listened to 20-something books already this year from doing that in her car. Figure out a way in your phone to put people in so that it's easy for you to find them and click on their name really fast and call them. I usually have somebody pulled up right next to me so that all I have to do is hit the button and talk to them in my car on the way somewhere. Reach out to them and sharing something new, okay? So utilizing every second of that calendar. Stephanie, hold on, I'm going to unmute you. Stephanie, can you share with everybody, because obviously working full-time as a principal, having a family at home, you really have to make sure that you're time blocking in order to be successful in your business. And can you share with everybody a little bit about where you are in your business, your rank, and how you do that utilizing your calendar?
Yep. So when I came in, it was February of 2019, and anyone who works in the school knows from like February until the end of the school year is super busy, because that's when we have testing, spring break, you're finishing everything for the year, trying to cram it all in. So it was a super busy time at school. And when I first started Thrive, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I just knew that I felt good. I wanted everybody else to feel good. I had joined as a promoter, and Elise and Kelly and Andrea, everybody was super helpful. So, I mean, they were doing all the talking and working, and I had all these people, and I had messages. I remember Kelly Hoover calling. She was like, girl, you hit 4K. And I'm like, I don't even know what that means, but yay. Hit 12K in 35 days. And I've gone up and down, but I've stayed at 12K, and I'm pushing to 40K. And that's working for us. I love having the car, the auto bonus paid for. Did not get into it for the money, of course, but I love it. I love helping people. In the beginning, I was very overwhelmed trying to juggle everything, and Kelly Hoover sat down with me at one of the Thrive events, and like beforehand, we had a little one-on-one, and she sat with her calendar and I had just a piece of paper. I don't even think it was in a notebook. And I was just scribbling notes because I was a hot mess. But I took everything that she said about how she had calendar blocked, and then I took that and put it into practice. And probably like your corporate America friend, I was like, oh my gosh, this is genius, because I before was letting my calendar run me instead of me run my calendar. So I always had things that I had to do at certain times, but it would be like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to be there in 20 minutes. I have to leave right now. Like I hadn't planned ahead for like little things and felt overwhelmed all the time. So first thing I did was order the Passion Planner off Amazon. So I have my Passion Planner. And I, like you, the first thing that I put on my calendar have different colors. So I highlight different colors. The first thing I put on there are the things that our family has to do. So all the important things about the boys, when it's our week to pick up from football, when games are, when practices are. Austin has a meeting at school tomorrow morning. So like all those things that I have to do for the family, that goes on there first, because that's first. Then the second thing that I schedule are my me time, my Orange Theory workouts, anything that I have to do if I'm having lunch with a friend or dinner with a friend. That is not something I did before I calendar blocked, but I learned I needed that time for myself so that I had that outreach. Even as busy as I am at work, I never worked out before Thrive, ever. Like I didn't like it. I didn't have the energy to do it. And I thought I didn't have the time to do it, but it was really because I was very poorly managing my time. But once I made that a priority, I go 3 to 4 times a week. On a work week, if it's not a work week, I go even more than that. And they're hour-long workouts. So that shows how much time I was wasting. A lot of that time I was wasting scrolling through Facebook. I'm not a big TV watcher, but I would get home, I'd get on the couch. I did not want to cook dinner, so I'd get on my phone, and Facebook was a huge, huge time suck. So I literally put even on my calendar the times that I'm going to get on Facebook, and I don't just randomly scroll and check people's posts. I'm deliberate about whose page I go to, whose page I comment on. If I want them to see my post, I make sure I comment on their post. I do my reach outs first thing in the morning. I'm up before 5 every morning. So my 5 reach outs I do every single morning, pretty much right after I take my vitamins. That's the first thing I do. So while they're getting working, I get to working. I do my first Facebook post in the morning. I cannot be on Facebook very much during the day when I'm at school. I'm at school from anywhere between 6:30 and 6:45 is when I get to school. My actual getting off time is 4, but we have an after school program, so I usually do not leave until between 5 and 5:30. So I can get on after 4 and do a quick check. My team knows that they can text or reach out or send me a message, and I'm more free after 4 on a work day. I use my car. Like when I'm in my car, I don't take my boys to school. Roger does that now that I'm not at their schools. And so if I'm in my car driving, not at 6 o'clock in the morning, but in the afternoon, I don't think anybody wants me to do a 3-way call at 6 in the morning, but on my way home or while I'm sitting at the boys football practice, when I know I'm in the car by myself, sometimes when I'm not by myself, sometimes our oldest son, he works out with me on the weekends. So sometimes if I'm driving to Orange Theory, it's about a 30-minute drive from my house. Sometimes I do a call just because that's when it works for whoever I'm doing the call with. And so he knows, he sticks his headphones in, so he's on his phone, he's good, and I'm hooked to Bluetooth and he'll hear the call. I think he could probably do the whole spiel for me or with me, and he actually does Thrive. So occasionally, like, he'll chime in, like I won't even know he's listening, and he'll be like, yeah, she's telling the truth. And I'm like, oh yeah, give me a plug. So they all know the lingo. Our 12-year-old, clearly he's the only one in the house not thriving. I think he could tell people. He'll come home sometimes and, talk about his teachers or his coach, and he's like, they need that patch. Like they were in a terrible mood today or something like that. So it is a family thing. Roger started thriving a month after I did. He works at Michelin. We were at a work function for him, and he started talking about it to other people. So, I mean, like everybody talks about it, but calendar blocking, I can't say enough about that. If I put something on my calendar and it doesn't happen, today being the perfect example, it was a crazy day at school today. I don't know what was in the air, but I did not get to leave school until about 5:45 today, and I had planned to do some things at 5:30 and at 4 o'clock, and they didn't get done. So that doesn't mean I just don't do them. It just means I do them later. So I have not even had the chance to get on Facebook at all, other than while Blair was talking, I was responding to messages and doing a couple of my follow-ups. But if it's on there, I make sure I do it. I don't just say, oh, I didn't do that today and just exit out. I try to make sure that I stay consistent and I actually do those things that are on there. I try to value other people's times. I try to let my team know the times that I'm available, because I do calendar block. So I can't just on a whim, like occasionally I can if it's important, but I can't always just be, if they're calling me and they're saying, hey, I have this person they want to do a call right now. I can't always fit it in that right now. Sometimes I can, but not always. So they kind of know when I'm available the most or the easiest. And we try to stick to those times. I've tried to teach them the same thing, and they're pretty good about doing that as well, because they don't want to be, jumbled all over the place either. So they try to incorporate or do the same type things that I have learned from Kelly and Elise and you and everybody else. So I feel like I'm rambling and saying a lot. I don't know.
That's great, because you hit a few things that I didn't hit at the beginning, which I think are so important. So I'm so glad you hit that. Which is about Facebook, and I'll talk about that in a second. But I also love that you said I'm working when they're working, like so she puts her capsules in, right? What was that quote? You said it was hilarious.
I'm working while they're working.
I'm working while they're working. That was brilliant.
I try to take advantage of every single minute. I do not have a minute to waste. I don't get in bed before 10 every day. So sometimes if I know, like, if I'm going to have like a crazy busy morning or my schedule's a little bit different, sometimes I'll do my reach outs just before I go to bed. And I know they're not going to see it until they wake up in the morning if they're already in bed, but that it'll let them have a chance to respond when I can't be on there. So like, it's kind of like you're playing phone tag when you're messaging someone. The other thing I like to use is Marco Polo. Like, I don't know if everybody knows about that app, but I do use that sometimes, because sometimes if I'm driving or if I don't have time, sometimes it takes a longer time to type out a text or a message. So I'll do a voice memo on through Facebook, because then they can hear something in my voice, and I can do that while I'm driving. I'll even say, hey, I'm driving, I can't text it out, but here's a quick answer to your question. Or I'm in the car, this is the perfect time to call me if you get this in the next 20 minutes. And so I try to get them on the phone that way. And then Marco Polo, it's not like live like FaceTiming, but I can just pop on and be like, hey, look at the DFT I'm wearing, or like, hey, look how much energy I have today. How are you feeling? Like, just as the quick reach out with people, and it's more personal than just, a text. How are you feeling?
Yeah, so. I love that. Thank you for sharing. That was awesome, Stephanie. So some of the stuff that she talked about that was so important is Facebook scrolling, right? So when we, this new 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 that we've really been pushing with you guys, the 3 stands for 3 social media shares a day, right? Put those on your calendar. And I love how Stephanie also shared that she's intentional with what she's doing when she gets on, right? So what that means is, a lot of times you guys have heard us say, go comment on the people that you want to see your post. So if you have new potential promoters, new potential thrivers, new people that are starting their Thrive experience, samplers, people that you want to become your new customers, right? Those are the people. So when I have on my calendar 2 times a day to go on Facebook, I'm spending 10 minutes both times a day when I go on Facebook. So I'm allotting that in my calendar. I actually block it as 15 minutes because I usually need a few minutes to think about what I'm going to be posting. So I spend a few minutes commenting on other people's stuff. I have some groups that I'm in now because I'm trying to meet some new people. I go into those groups. I give comments. I might post something, and then I go and post or go live on Facebook. Okay. And I also do that on Instagram. So you've got to be engaged with people as well, and make sure that you're connecting, and also make sure that you're not just spending time scrolling through Facebook, right? And for those of you that are leaders, you want to also make sure that's when I check 2 times a day. So if you don't see me congratulate you or somebody else on your team that you've tagged me in, it's because I'm only looking 2 times a day. So during that 2 times a day, I'm also trying to look again at the notifications and see if there's anybody on my team that I need to say congratulations to or whatever. Now, here's one other really big tip, guys, to remember is at the end of the day. And Holly, I'm going to have you share in just a second. I can't see you on my screen. So I'm going to have to find you somehow. But at the end of the day, I also go back to my calendar, like Stephanie had said, and I double check to see, where in my calendar do I need to make sure that I didn't do something, okay? Maybe there was something I forgot that I need to put on my calendar for tomorrow or get it done before I go to bed, right? Carry it over. I also have all of the people who are starting on their experience on small sticky notes so I can move them throughout the week. So I'm moving them right before I go to bed at night. I think that, guys, as you start to build your business, one of the biggest things you'll realize is that you have to not only calendar block, but you have to also go on there at night and double check your calendar so that you can let it go and go to bed with peace of mind. Okay, I know I got the things done today that I need to get done. Here's what's on my schedule for tomorrow. I'm setting my alarm for the time I need to get up, and I'm done with that. Right? And what you'll also find is sometimes at night, you need to go back right before bed and answer a few more questions and double check. So sometimes I have on my calendar at night to go back and double check my email and my Facebook Messenger before I go to bed. Okay, that's also really important because sometimes people have last minute questions for you. You can get those answered. So a lot of times you guys will see that my times that I kind of reach out to the majority of the people are pretty much planned on my calendar. It's usually anywhere from like 3 times to 2 times a day that I'm doing that, checking in on Facebook, checking in on Instagram, and those kind of things. Okay, now, it doesn't mean if I don't have a free 5 minutes while I'm waiting for my kids in pickup line that I'm not going to pick up my phone and take care of some messages and stuff. Of course I will. All right, so Holly, I'm going to unmute you and get you to share with us as well. Holly, can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you, but I can't see you, so I'm going to have to look for you. And so what I'd love for you to share, Holly, is now you're working this full-time, right? You used to be working this part-time, and now you're working this full-time, and sometimes that can be even more challenging as you're trying to figure out how to fit that in. Oh, there you are. So will you share with us a little bit about, same thing as that Stephanie did, to kind of introduce yourself, when you started Thrive, what rank you're at now, and how you're using your calendar blocking to really help your business?
Okay. So I started in February, the end of February. I went to 12K really fast my second month, and I've been a strong 12K since then. I went from being a preschool teacher and a swim coach, and I also have a 5 and a 6-year-old, to pretty much a full-time mom / working this business full-time. And this is my first year. Both kids are at the same school. So when we started school, I was really excited. I messaged Kelly. I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to be at 200K like tomorrow, because I can do so much in my day, not having to juggle the kids. And then like day 2, I was like squirrel, like everywhere was a squirrel, and I was super distracted. I was like lost in Facebook, Instagram, like everywhere. I was like totally overwhelmed. Sat down with Kelly, and now I'm like week 3 into this, and there's definitely some growing pains for me because I am someone that's all over the place, and I'm used to being really structured just because I'm forced to because of my schedule, working a job or whatever it may be. So trying to like work out those kinks. So when we sat down, I do it very similar to Stephanie, making sure like all my family events are on there, and whatever else I have going on my week. Where mine varies is from 9:30. It's about either 9 or 9:30 until about 1:30 or 2. I'm working my business. And so I'm still playing around with what increments I do that, whether it's 30 minutes on and then 15-minute break, or if I'm doing 30 and 30. And I'm finding out that I'm really good for like a day of calendar blocking that seriously. And then the next day I have a hard time staying as focused. I should tell everybody that I'm really, really determined to grow really fast. And because I did pretty much slack off this summer and do a lot of things with the kids, I'm definitely in rebuild. So it's, those initial conversations, those first follow-ups or those reach outs with those folks, I'm still on like reach out 1 or 2. And And so I'm getting a lot of those free accounts, and I'm definitely focused on the fact that it's a 90-day plan. It's not immediate gratification for me. So it's not like I am reaching out and all the orders are coming in that day like it was when I first started. And so the mindset of it's a 90-day plan, and that I have to be consistent with it and positive. So it's definitely, I love it. I love being a calendar blocker. I love learning how to do it, but I'm learning it from like all aspects of my life to stay focused, and it's working my business.
Love that. Thanks, Holly.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find also, are you putting on your calendar blocking your time that you're spending in reading and journaling and those kind of things as well?
Yes, and that's where I'm playing with it, because I'm someone that doesn't like to miss anything. And like Stephanie was saying, like I'm someone that like agrees to everything, and then I'm like, there's only 24 hours in a day. So I'm still trying to balance that, like, you know, not missing all the videos right when they're happening, you know, not missing all the Zooms. Like I want to be on everything all the time. So I'm still trying to like figure that out in between sports and stuff. So I'm not a pro at that yet, but I do block at least 2 nights a week to the business.
Yeah. Well, and I think also one of the biggest things that I can address to what Holly just said is you guys be focused on what is your goal for that week. If your goal is to help bring in new customers, then pick the Zooms or the lives or the calls that are focused on that and just take that. And then the other ones you can listen to while you're doing your reach outs and your follow-ups if you want to, right? Those aren't maybe the ones that you're totally focused on. And I feel like everything comes back in a circle. So if you miss one, you'll get back around to it at another time. But it is the most important thing that you can do for your business is scheduling out those reach outs, those follow-ups. When are you going to do your social media and how are you going to do it, right? In a very important way, not just being a taker, but also a giver. And then making sure you're adding people to your list and making sure you're doing the connection with your leaders. So those are the most important things that you can do. And I truly believe that when you focus your time and your calendar on the things that are going to build your business, you will see that growth. So Holly's in a regrowth stage. I'd say probably everybody is, and hopefully everybody is, because no matter whether you're trying to go from a brand new promoter to 12K or you're trying to get to 200K, we are all needing to bring in new customers, new promoters, and help other people experience the Thrive experience in the business as well. So I feel like we've talked about this for about 30 minutes. And so I want to open it up. If anybody has any questions, you can unmute yourself. We'll do this for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'll shut it down at 8:45. Okay? So if anybody has any questions, yeah, go ahead, Pamela.
Just a quick question about Facebook. When we're posting and you're telling us to go to all the people that are on our reach outs and our follow-ups, does comment, is that the only way that gets it, or is the like or love or smiley button work too?
The number one way to get them to make sure they're going to see the next thing that you post is to ask a question and converse with them. So what Facebook wants you to do is become a community. Like they're all about right now, they're trying to rebuild themselves after all the drama that they've had this last year. So all their algorithms are based on community building. So if you go on a friend's post of her cute dog and you just hit like or love, it's not really going to help your algorithm. But if you say, oh my gosh, that's the cutest dog I've ever seen. What kind of dog is that? Or Melissa, I totally forgot that you had a pug. How old is your pug now? You know, or something like that. Or where did you get that Halloween costume for your dog? It's hilarious. Okay, by asking that question, now they're going to pop on and answer, and now Facebook's going to move them up and move you up to make sure they see what you have to say, because they go, oh, Pamela's friends with that girl. That girl's friends with Pamela. They need to see each other's posts. Anybody else have a question?
Thank you, Blair.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
Yes, I have a question.
Awesome.
Hi, it's Carrie.
Hey, Carrie.
Hi, Blair. As far as working with Instagram, I am like Instagram, don't know what I'm doing. So is there anything that you can tell me that you found works for you as far as posting, or how to even do, because I see all these people do videos and then you can swipe up, swipe down, do all this stuff. Is there a way to do that?
Okay, So the first thing is all those cute things that they're doing are fun, and they might get you some people to like check you out and watch or whatever. If you're not engaging, there's like background noise. I'm hitting mute on you, Carrie, because it's making a weird noise. If you're not engaging with them and sending them a private message and connecting with them, it doesn't matter anyways. So don't get so caught up in being cutesy on there. There are videos, you can Google how to do that. So maybe time block for Saturday when you have more free time, or Sunday if you have more free time. Maybe time block for 30 minutes or an hour to Google how to do those things if that's something you're interested in. And but the biggest part is when you get new people following you on Instagram, or you see somebody on Instagram that you think would be great for you to follow and connect with, send them a message, connect with them, because that's how you're going to get new customers from it. Just posting on Instagram isn't going to get you anything. It's the connection that's made through that. Kelly Hoover, do you have anything to share with that? Because you've become like the master of Instagram lately. And I don't want to go like too much into like how to do the swipe and how to do the video, but I know that you have some great tips.
Yeah, so you can't, from my understanding, and it's not cut and dry, but you cannot get a swipe up on your story until you have 2,000-ish followers. The faster you're growing on Instagram, the more followers you get, the more access they give you to things. So I encourage everyone just to figure out what time of day to post on Instagram, some hashtags that relate to you, and Google some videos about how to follow, unfollow, and like put that in your calendar. Like, I'm going to follow this week, I'm going to unfollow. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, just go look it up on some videos. I have spent about 30 minutes a day for a few months now learning Instagram. It does take some time. It's totally different beast, but you can really connect and convert with people. But it has to be, it's a little bit more slower, I would say, than Facebook is.
Perfect. Anybody, Jessica, you laughing? You saw my message? Okay, anybody else?
Hey, Blair, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Good evening, by the way.
Hi, Melissa.
Hi.
No, it's just me. How much do you charge weekly or monthly to come do our calendar for us and make us stick to it?
Only about $1,000 a week. I mean, it's totally $4,000 a month. That's nothing.
Done. No, thank you so much for this training. We're actually sitting here working on our calendar right now as you're talking, but just want to say thank you so much for putting this together for us. It's really a good thing.
So welcome. You guys, honestly, that see, Melissa and Cliff just reminds me, the best thing you can do for your family, if you're married or you have a partner or somebody else that you live with, that you do life with, you know, spending that time on Sunday to really come together and say, hey, here's our week. What's important to you? What do I need to make sure is on my calendar for you? What's important if you have children? What's important for the children that we need to put on the calendar? What's important to me? Because that communication, guys, will help you with not only your marriage, your relationship, whatever, but it will also help you in this business. Because if you are fighting against somebody the whole time you're trying to get to 200K, it's going to be a hard battle for you. Okay, but if instead you're in a partnership with everybody, it doesn't mean they're going to love your business every single day. Believe me, there's still times my husband is jealous of this business, okay? But the reality is we have a conversation every single Sunday. Here's what's important to you. Here's what's important to me. Here's what's important to the kids. Okay, so that means on Tuesday night, from as soon as we get back from football, I'm going in my office. I'm locking myself in my office from 7 to 9:30 p.m. because I've got things going on. Is that good? Okay, awesome. On the calendar. I don't have to feel bad about it. I'm committed to it. It feels good, actually, because I know what's expected of me and they know what's expected of them. And it doesn't leave for that uncomfortableness that some of you right now are going, I know exactly what she's talking about, that weird uncomfortableness when you have to go, oh, I'm supposed to be on a call. You know, because you didn't want to tell that person ahead of time that you had things going on that night for your business. Don't tiptoe around it. Be honest and talk about it on Sunday night. You know, it's kind of like, this is a great analogy, guys, but it's kind of like my friends who wait until Friday afternoon to tell their husband that we have girls' night on Friday night. And then they wonder why they're pissy and mad. Well, it's because you waited until Friday afternoon. You did that because you were scared he was going to say no. How about instead saying, this is really important to me. I miss my friends. I only get to see them once a month. Are you open to me going out on Friday night with them? And this is what time I'm going to leave. This is the time I'm going to get home. And are you okay with that? Having an adult conversation. It's not always easy, but it always reaps the rewards. I promise, guys. All right? All right, anybody else? Any other questions? Oh, Carrie, you're so sweet. Nobody else? All right, awesome. Well, I'm so glad you guys joined us. Thanks, Pam. Thanks for you guys joining us. Thanks, Kelly Hoover, for the push. She said this was important to her when I taught it to her a couple years ago, and so she pushed me to do this for you guys. So you can all thank Kelly Hoover because she's the one that made me do it tonight. And thanks, Stephanie. Thanks, and Holly for joining us and just sharing a little bit, because I know sometimes it's hard to wrap your mind around how other people are doing it as well. So, all right, guys, I hope you have a great night and a great week, and that you take time Sunday night to block your calendar, figure out what's important, what needs to be on there. But most importantly, guys, make sure the time is on there for your affirmations, for your visualization, for taking time to build your mental mind, as well as your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 every single day. Okay, Monday through Sunday. You've got to have that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 on there. I'm in a rebuilding stage right now too. And I will tell you this, prior to about 3 weeks ago, I was only working Monday through Saturday morning, and that was it. And I was taking, rest of Sunday, Saturday and Sundays off, just being honest here, unless it was for 3-way calls for people. But I have committed to making sure I'm doing 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 every single day, because I'm in a rebuild phase too. I need some new promoters. I need to help them get to 12K. And my goal is to help as many people as possible do that before the holidays, because that's life-changing money and can change somebody's holidays for them and for their families. So that means we're helping people, not just now. It means we're helping them generationally, right? So that's even more exciting. So, all right, guys, have a great night.